Sunbeard here, and today we're going to build a minecart switch. And this design is going to use items in the minecart to switch it. Now, if you didn't watch the previous video about all the other kinds of minecart switches, you may want to check that out before hitting this one. Alright, let's get to it. The blue section over here is the item sorter. The yellow section is a pulse lengthener to control the rail and make sure it's timed right. And the red section over here is the dropper tower, which recycles our items so that we do not have a net loss of items in the minecart. Depending on which way your rails are oriented, you may find that this design will not work for the direction you want to send them. And the reason is, this rail will be in a different default state, so you need to have it powered by default and unpowered when you receive an item you're sorting. So there is an alternative design if you need that. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it the same width, so I had to add one block to make sure the timings were correct. But it's more or less just as complicated as the other one, so it shouldn't be a problem to build just from a screenshot here after you've built the other one. So feel free to take a screenshot there and refer to later if you need this design. I will also mention that between these two designs, if you mirror one or the other, you should be able to send a cart out of either of those two rails depending on your situation. So something to keep in mind that you can build them in any direction if you need to. So the first thing you'll want to do is figure out how your railroads connect. So by default, if a cart's coming from this direction, it will go straight. If it's switched, it'll go right if we are using the first design, which is preferable. After you've figured out which way your cart will be coming in and which design we need to build, in this case we are building the first design, then we can build the dropper tower. So we'll want to go down one block like this, and we're going to put a dropper facing straight up, another above it, and another above that. Next we need to put a block here so that we can feed it into a comparator. So this comparator will get the signal from that bottom hopper. It can get it through the block if you did not know that. And we're going to put a repeater to lengthen that signal or increase its power. And whoops, that is going to go to a block there. And we'll have some redstone on top of that. And that's going to come back and feed into this comparator, which needs to be in subtraction mode. And that will be the clock for our hopper. So all we do is put some more blocks above these and route our redstone back that way into the center hopper, and we made a basic dropper tower. Now the way this one will work is if we put a few items in it, doesn't matter how many, it's going to shoot them out, and it uses relatively few resources, and the only thing we're going to have left is one redstone at the top, but nothing in the other droppers. So if you're not too worried about having one item in the system that isn't necessarily being used at the time, it's not a big deal. Now that dropper needs to feed into a set of hoppers so that we can replenish our minecart when it's been switched. So it's going to come through this way if it has an item in it that we're looking for. It's going to go to the right in this case, so we need to put a hopper there. Now you don't want to put it right next to where the rail switch because sometimes the cart can actually pick up items from the hopper when it's going straight, even though it's not in that block. So just do it this way and you won't have that problem. So we're going to feed a hopper into there and feed another one to that. So now our dropper tower will feed directly into these hoppers. So if we put a few more items in there, now it's going to come up here and they will all pool in this place. So we have 16 in the system. And we got one in our dropper tower, and there will always be one in there in this configuration. So that portion's complete. So now we can build the item sorter. So what I want to do is remove this block here so that we can place a hopper there. So it is going to consist of a hopper on the bottom facing into that bottom dropper. And we need to put another hopper above it that will feed into that block. Now what we're going to have there is a comparator. So it will feed into the comparator, so it'll never transfer items that way. And we need to put a block out this way and a block down, and that is what our redstone signal will be going on for our item sorter. So we need to come back this way, put a repeater from that block, and that goes into this block, which will have a torch that negates the signal. So this is a basic item sorter. There's a lot of different designs, but we don't need anything fancier because this isn't going to be tiled, so we don't need to worry about overflow protection, all that fun stuff. So the next thing we want to do is create our pulse lengthener, which will control how long this rail stays on once it's been switched. So first thing is we need the short pulse. So that's just going to have a simple diode here. So the redstone signal can travel up, but it can't travel down. And that's important because we want to isolate our item sorter so that we don't get extra redstone signal in here and flush the whole thing out and ruin it and have to reset it. So that'll go not into a redstone dust, but into a repeater into that. So it's going to have about 1 redstone tick. So that way our rail will switch before the cart gets into that block, because otherwise, well, it won't work. So next thing is we need to put a pulse lengthener on this side so that we will have it open long enough so that the cart doesn't get, switched while it's on that block and either bounce back or go straight or even do something weirder. Who knows? So what we want to do is put a block here, and we're going to put a repeater off of that. So this repeater is going to go into another block, and you can do this different ways depending on what layout you want. And we're just going to pump this signal all the way back into our original lengthener. So as you can see, it goes into this repeater, it gets a 1 tick delay, comes up here, and receives another 1 tick delay. So it will lengthen the signal that way. So we should be able to use it now. So we'll put an empty cart. Seems to work, it went straight. And we will put a cart with a different item in it. It also goes straight. And we will put item with redstone in it. Item minecart. It goes right. Now we'll put a few other items, and we'll have a redstone over there. It will still sort it to the right. So it works. We were successful. And that is how you build an item-based minecart switch. If you'd like to find out more about different switch designs, there's a couple other tutorials and a showcase showing how you can use all the different designs to sort out minecarts, including even hoppers from chest minecarts or empty minecarts from full, and even passengers. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and have a good one.